Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to another session. So in this basically we are going to create the login API for our incident management system API. So goal of this session is we will create one login API. The role of that API will be get the username and password from the user and validate that in the database. If it is valid, then generate the JWT token and return it back to the response. So that way our user or client application can use that token for subsequent API calls to validate their authenticity. So we have created account controller, right? So in this, basically I will add one endpoint. So endpoint name should be login and return type should be uh, one model DTOs we can create. Okay. So just do one thing. Open this project, right click, add one folder. We will call it as a DTOs. DTO means data transfer object. Okay, in this we will add login request, login response. So add new class login request. So login request means from the end user we will pass two things. What are those? We will pass username and password. Okay. So this is your login request. And we will have one more DTO, that is, okay, let's do one thing. Login API. In this, we will have login request and login response. So for login API, we will have two classes in a same class file, in a same file. Login request response. In the response, I want to return two things. No, no, not two. Yeah. So first of all, I want to return JWT token. JWT token. If it is succeeded, okay. Otherwise, I want to return null or error something. Then we will have one more DTO, that is we will call it as a request, sorry, response base. Base means it will have the common fields which we will return always. So what are all common fields? Like error message. If there is any error, we can just return it. Then we should have boolean like success message. Okay. So this is your base response and that should be inherited here. So we need to inherit login response from the base response. Now we are having three fields here: JWT token or error message. If it is success true, we will return JWT token. If it is success false, we will return the error message like that. Okay. Now let's go to the controller again here. Sorry. Let's close everything. Open controller, account controller. API response will be your login response. Okay. And this should be your get, not get, but login. And here we should have controller action. Now we will write the logic to validate your credentials. This is your from URL, body actually, not URL. And login API should be your post API. Why post? Because we will pass the username and password through request body, not through the URL. Because if you pass it as a URL, then it will be visible in the browser. So it is secure information we should pass as a request body. So that's why here from body, and we will have one parameter, that is login request, and here login request. Okay. And we need to return response here. That should be a login response. But I don't want to write the logic inside the controller for communicating with the database as well as for generating the JWT token. For that, I will use repository pattern. So for repository pattern, basically, you will require repositories and services. So I will add one service here, that is your account service. Okay, for each controller we will have a separate service. So account service will have one constructor obviously, and we'll have one method, public login response, and then validate login details. Okay, this is your method, and here we will pass login request as a parameter. Inside this we will create one more repository. Inside the repository folder we will have one account repo. Okay, so account repo will have its own constructor obviously, and we'll have one method that is will return true or actual user details. Okay, validate login details. In this method we will pass two things, string username, string password, and here actually we will go to the database, will return the, will validate the credential and return user if it is there, if it is successful, otherwise we will return the null. Okay, so user equal to null by default, and then we will add the dependency of your db context class. So we will have public read only incident db context dot context. Okay, dot underscore db context. Okay, and db context dot login details dot where p dot username dot equals the username which we provided from the UI, and p dot password dot equals password dot first or default. If we have any record matching with the provided username and password, then give me that record, otherwise return default value that can be a null. If user is equal to null, then we do not have any combination which are matching with this username and password. In that case we will get user as a null. If user is null, then we can return invalid username and password. Okay, but that logic we will do in the business layer. So business layer means your service, but here why it is showing error, let's see that. db context is null here, cannot implicitly convert user login to model user. Yes, so we need to return user login actually, not user. Okay, that's it. So we have done with this. Okay, it is just saying db context can be null because that dependency we need to register here. How to register that? inc db context, and here we need to assign that to member variable like this. Okay, so we have written one SQL query in a form of object oriented programming using lambda expression to verify the credential in the database. If it is matching with the database, it will return you the user record. If it is not matching, it will return user null. And this logic we need to add in the service that public next read only account repo, right? So we wanted to call the API function from the account repo. Account repo. So where user is equal to account repo dot validate login details. I will provide login request dot username comma login request dot password. Now we will have that logic here. If user equal to null, then do one thing. This is the response I want to send. So login response of response equal to new login response. So if it is null, then login response dot success is equal to false. Okay. And response dot message is equal to invalid username and username and password. Okay, invalid credentials also we can mention here. Else, if it is not null, then we can write the code to generate token. So we can have one private method here which will return you the token, and we can just create that generate token. We will pass username for creating the token. How to generate the token? You can do one thing where key is equal to new. Okay, one more thing. For generating the JWT token, you will have to install couple of packages. First of all, what are all packages you will have to install? I will tell you. Okay. First of all, go to your package manager console. Browse Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.authentication.jwt bearer. This one. Okay. Select 7.15, install it. So once you install this package, then only you can use the classes from that package. Okay, go back. Now here you can use the class, that is symmetric security key. Symmetric security key. If you find it, you will get the using this one. Symmetric security key, and here you can use encoding dot utf at dot get bytes, and here you can basically pass your secret key. Okay, so secret key we will get in the configuration table. For that you will have to add one configuration dependency here. Public read only I configuration. Here we can mention configuration like this. Okay, so by using this you can just do one thing, get bytes of configuration square bracket open closed and mention JWT colon secret key. This you will need to add into your app setting.json file. Okay, next credential credentials is equal to new signing credentials. Okay, signing credentials key, key, comma, security algorithm dot this one HMAC SHA 256. Then we can create the claims. So what is claims? Claims means the payload. Whatever payload you want to store inside your JWT token, you can just add them as a claims. You will require the payload to identify currently logged in users or authenticity or identity. Okay, claim 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 type dot name, who is logged in. So I can just pass my username there. Okay, this user is logged in as a part of this token. Okay, I can also add multiple claims. So whenever required, we will definitely add that. Don't worry. Now this is the line where I'm actually going to create the token. Token means JWT token. So new JWT token, JWT security token, open. Now I will have to provide multiple parameters here like this. So first parameter will be your issuer. So issuer I will get from the configuration, from the JWT section. Next thing should be issuer. Okay, who has issued this token. So I can mention his name here, issuer. Okay, then we can mention audience, who can use my token, because I am as an identity provider creating the token. So audience. Then what are the claims I want to add? Then when it should expire. If I create the token, then from the creation date dot now dot add minutes, I want to make sure this token should be expire whatever expiration time I will mention in the app setting file. Convert dot to double then configuration of, in the JWT file I will mention expire in minutes. This will be my key. Okay, so it will refer that as the expiration time. And last parameter I need to pass, that is signing credentials, which I have already created above. So I will pass that as a value. Credentials. This one actually. That's it. Okay, so I have successfully generated the token here. Now I will just return that as a response. So return new JWT security token handler dot write token. That's it. So this method will help me to generate the token. Okay, go here and call that method in else block. Why else block? Because if user is not null, then I want to create one token using this method. I will pass my username as a parameter, like login request dot username, and this token I will basically return as a API response, and this token I will assign into response dot token somewhere, right? Token we have added, yeah, this one, JWT token. That's it. And this API we will call from the controller. So in the controller, we will need to add the dependency of the service class. Okay. So account service, and here we can just add it. Okay, and this we can use here to get login response. Response is equal to account service dot validate account service dot validate login details. Is it public? Public login response. Okay, yes, it is public. So why it is not showing here? Account service dot. Oh, it is not iLogger actually. It should be like this. Now you can see validate details and pass your login request. That's it. And you can just return response. So this is how we have implemented end-to-end code for the login API. Now let's find what is missing. This is not enumerable actually, just like this. Okay, let's build the project. I know it will not work because we need to register the dependencies into the program.cs class. Then only it will work. Okay, so how to register the dependency, why it requires. Also, one more thing is remaining. In appsetting.json file, we need to add the JWT token section, JWT, because we are using this information in the code, right? Using iConfiguration class. So here we need to add, first of all, first parameter, that was issuer. So issuer can be any domain name like http colon or any name. Issuer means inc issuer, incident management issuer. Audience, these are the unique keys actually for verification purpose. Inc audience. Secret key should be in a 256 lane something. There are some uh, criteria for generating the secret key. Okay, so let me check secret key. Return the secret key. It should be in a byte format. HMSC. Okay, do one thing. Let's create the secret key online. Create secret key for this online. Algorithm we will pass. Okay, so we will have one tool online somewhere. Enter plain text to compute hash, enter secret key. I wanted to create the secret key, right? Yeah, I want to create a secret key for this. Plain text hypertext generate. Okay. Whatever we can just generate, it will just provide us one secret key and we will use that here. You can add anything. Okay, so it is not something you can just copy paste this one only. So secret spelling should not be mistake. Okay, so this is my secret key and I want to expire this token every after 1 hour. So expire in minute is 1 hour. Like this. Okay. So this is your JW token information. We are basically reading that here. You can see user, audience, secret key, expires in minute. So we are reading it from appsetting.json file. So that's why I just added it there. And that was the basically this is configuration thing. So that's why we have added it here. Now we need to register the dependency. So go to the program.cs file. Here we can register the dependency. How to register it for the class, because we are not going to create interfaces for registering it. I don't want to spend time on that. So I will just create using class only. So one thing is here, like we need to think about what kind of dependency we need to register, whether it is transient, scope, or singleton, right? So I think we will add it as a scope only. For every API call, it should be a create a new instance of your classes. So as we do not have the interfaces, we need to register it like this without using, as you know, as of now, whatever dependency we are registering, we're using interfaces for them. But this time I don't want to register the interfaces. So I will just add like this. Where is that? This one, right? So builder dot add, sorry, builder dot services dot add scope. Okay. And here we can directly add your class name. So account service, I want to add. Then I also want to register it for account repository, account repo actually. Okay, so these two dependency I have just added. Along with this, I also need to write something here for the JWT token creation, like services, sorry, builder dot services dot add authentication, add authentication. In this, which kind of authentication you want to add? I want to use bearer defaults, sorry, JWT bearer defaults. Okay, dot authentication scheme. So this is my authentication scheme, that is bearer token. Then dot add JWT bearer options. Okay, there are some options we need to add here. So options can be options dot token validation params. This one. Okay, equal to new. This is the process. I mean, you can't skip it. Without this, you cannot register the dependency for your JWT token. So this we need to do, like validate issuer. So this is the configuration. I want to validate issuer, yes. Then I want to validate audience, yes. Then I wanted to validate lifetime. Lifetime means your expiration time. Yes, it should validate. Then issuer's signing key. Yes, I want to validate that as well. Then valid issuer. Valid issuer means if issuer is this into your configuration file, builder configuration, it means that is valid one, jwt dot issuer. not dot actually, colon. Okay. Next one is valid audience also. Valid audience is equal to builder dot configuration, and audience we already have in the JWT colon audience. Okay. And next one is last one, issue signing key. Which kind of basically algorithm we are going to use? That is new symmetric security key. Symmetric SYM symmetric security key. In this encoding, same thing, whatever we added there, right? Encoding. For encoding, we need to add one using dot UTF get byte. Here we can just add the secret key. So secret key is there in the configuration file. So builder dot configuration and then JWT colon secret key. Okay, that's it. I think we are good. Without any error, it should work. Let me just build the project. Okay, let's run it. So you can see in my database for user login table, I do not have any records. So if I do not have any records, then I cannot pass the username and password. Even though I pass anything, it will return me invalid username and password. So that we need to think of. You can see login API, try it out. If I pass the username as, let's say, admin, password as 123, click on the execute button. It will, oh, object reference error. It does not have the account service, because this account service we need to inject here like this, account service, then account service, and then like this. So this dependency injection we need to do initialize the memory variable. Same for account repo here. In the constructor we require to do this account repo, then account repo, and here in the constructor we can just add account repo is equal to account repo like this. Okay, same for configuration also. I configuration and then underscore configuration equal to configuration. Okay, and then it should work here also, underscore. Okay, now let's check if everything is good. Logger is also initialized. This is initialized. Then inside the repository, yeah, it should be initialized. It should work now. Okay, now let's expand, try it out. Username is admin, password is 123. It should return invalid username and password this time without error. See, invalid username and password. Got it? Success is false. JW token is null. Now let's do one thing. Let's add some dummy record in the database and we will just validate the username for that record. So in the user table, first of all, I need to add one entry. Let me add that. First name is, let's say, my name. Email is bpawar@gmail.com. Mobile number is this. then created date is today's date 04. Okay, and for this user I'm going to create one login record also here. Sorry, user login. I will to create like b power as a username, password is 123, active is true, last login is null, user ID is 1. That's it. Okay, what was the user ID for this? 1, right? So it should work. Oh, not committed. Cannot insert null into the last login. Okay, last login should have something. So let's add dummy date for now. Okay, that's it. Now we have one username password in the data, b power 123. So if I pass my username here, b power, and password is 123, and click on execute, this time it should return me the JWT token. You can see it haven't written me the invalid password. It has written me the proper token. So this token I can use for subsequent API call to authorize myself. So if you go to the jwt.io.com, and if you scroll down and if you paste that token here, you can see my name here somewhere in the payload. Where is that payload? Yeah, you can see name is equal to b power. So this token is associated with this user. So this is the claim. Claim means the payload. Payload means it will help you to identify who is login. So by using the username, I can get additional information of the currently logged in user from the database later on. So this token will help me to provide the identity of the currently logged in user. So that is why we need to create the token. So you can see success is false. So that is one minor mistake we forgot to update. You go here, same like this, you can just add here true. That's it. I hope you got the understanding of login API. You can try to debug it. You will eventually see how. Let's do one thing. Let's debug it together for both the cases, success and false. Okay. So I'm going to pass the dummy username this time. Dummy means wrong username this time. If I go here, I'm passing ABC 123. This is the invalid credential. So if I scroll down, go inside. Okay. Here you can see this query should return null. It returns null. And if it is null, we have a logic here. Return invalid username and password. So that is something we have written as a part of API response. You can see invalid username and password. Now this time I am going to pass the correct username b power at 123. And now it will go inside this, will return the actual user information. You can see this is the actual user information from the database. It is not null this time, and if it is not null, it will go in a else block, will generate the token. This is your token. Will assign it to the token variable, mark it success as a true, and return the response as a success with the token. You can see success equal to true. This is the token. There is no error message. So this is how you can create the login API for your application. We will stop here. We'll see you in the next session. Thanks.